Rivers.
35-40. Midfield, McMahon breaks a tackle. He's gone! 10-5 touchdown! Raiders!
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
What's good? We back, man. After, back-to-back wins. When's the last time that happened, man? Especially the way, especially a crazy blowout against the Chargers, and now we got. And I think people are coming for you right now in the chat. So I think some people have been coming for you in the comments. A great win against a good team. Finally, something that you wanted, because I know you mentioned this in the past, Severe. You said we need some good wins. We need some good wins for AP to get that head coaching job. But salute to the chat. Salute to everyone that's pulling up. Man, we got a special guest. But before we bring him in, we're gonna have to say what's good to the chat. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up, because we got people waiting. Appreciate everybody's patience.
Man,
we got
appreciate it.
Raph in the building. He says, "Yo, salute my brothers. Hey, appreciate you coming through, Raph." Robert Penny in the building.
Salute.
Jack, my guy Jack in the building, man. One of my day ones. Daniel Ken, one of my mods. Hey, appreciate you coming through. But man, I don't want to waste any time, man. I don't want to. This guy right here, man. He's one of the guys out there that everybody needs to be subscribed to. I'm not gonna even. I don't want to even mess up this intro real quick. Let me bring him to the stage real quick. My guy, Big Mike Raider.
Yo, what's good, man? What's good? What's good with the chat?
What's good?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, man. Hey, man, this is gonna be a classic show. I already know. I could tell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Let's bring the energy. Let's talk some ball, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. Thanks for having me on the show. This is the first time, man. Solid dude. I love the show. I've been listening behind the scenes in the clouds. And man, keep doing your thing, bro. And Severe, man, you already know how I feel about it, man. You already know. Keep doing your thing, bro.
For sure. That's my dog, Big Mike, man. Big Mike, yeah, definitely. I definitely got to check out Big Mike, man. Puts out some quality content, man. And he has I don't know if he's doing it this year, man. I'm trying to convince him, man. But his breakdown of the draft, man. His 30 days, 30 prospects. That's classic stuff right there. So definitely, if you drop that again this year, check that out.
Oh, it's going down, bro.
As you can see on the screen, Big Mike Raider everywhere on social media. Go over to YouTube, subscribe to my guy. It's going to be a classic show. He's going to be dropping some knowledge for us, man. He's going to be breaking down. I wish we could have you breaking down film. I know it's like short notice or whatever, but we're going to be talking some football. But yeah, man, hey, the Raiders won. They beat the Chiefs on the road. For some reason, we can't beat them at home. We haven't beat them a lot, in recent years. But I'm just saying, like, the last time we beat them, it was on the road, too, as well. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. What do you think of the win? What do you think of, the performance by the Raiders yesterday on Christmas?
Man, it made my Christmas, bro. It made my Christmas. It was, it was a good win. Now, you want to talk about strategically what happened in the game. The offense sputtered. That was rough to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fourth quarter, when the Chiefs scored, make it a 6-point game, I was a little afraid. I was a little concerned, just considering how the offense was playing for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Zamir White saved the day. After that, I was relieved. It was one of the better Christmases I can remember, man. It's related to the Raiders, and man, great defensive performance, a defensive masterclass. We can't ask for anything more, man. I was excited about it. I'm sure the chat is as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, from guys like Malcolm Koonce, Jack Jones, just overall, just the defense. It just felt like it was a team effort. They shut down Patrick Mahomes. I never seen him that frustrated. Do you see Kelce throw his helmet pissed off? I loved it though. I loved it. It's because me in the autumn years where we've seen Kelce like just pretty much destroy the Raiders. To be honest, like he pretty much dominates the Raiders along with Kelce, along with Andy Reid. You just look at his numbers over time against us; they're always dominating. But man, AP has brought a different energy to this team, and it shows, man. The way they're playing on, I mean not Sunday, but obviously every game that they've been playing, it's like we don't question how hard they're playing. We might question maybe they need some talent. We've questioned maybe some of the decisions coaching, but hey, that's gonna happen with a guy that literally went into the season as a linebackers coach. But he's gotten better every game. Like the fact that they made the adjustments that I like by that AP was able to make, for example, like to put the OC up there with Patrick Graham. Hey, the OC's doing. Hey, he's calling the game. We could talk about how AOC's kind of missing some guys. He struggled a little bit yesterday. I mean, it was a tough defense. Especially he started like 9 for 11 in the first quarter, and then went 0 for 10. He went 0 for 10 over the last 3 quarters, and we still won the game.
Yeah, man. It was rough. It was rough. You mentioned about Antonio Pierce kind of being, improving game by game. Now, I want to tell people that, and that's kind of my thing, Severe, that success isn't linear. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. I mean, I probably sound like a puppet, like a pull the string, and success isn't linear. I probably sound like that dude right now. But you see exactly what we're talking about with Antonio Pierce is like, okay, yeah, he won his first 2 games, and then he lost his first 3. You can't say he's regressed. It's more of like, like the saying goes, either you win or you learn. You can definitely take those as learning experiences from Antonio Pierce. And then, the next 2 games, he learned from his mistakes. He took that Vikings game to heart. He put Bo Hardegree up in the box, and the offense seems to be has a little bit more layers to it than it did in the previous weeks. So you're seeing improvement in the offense. You're not going to see a linear progression with the offense, but you do see bright spots.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw the defense. They keep on doing their thing. So it's excellent, bro, what I'm seeing from Antonio Pierce, man. It's nothing but success, taking those steps to being that head coach.
Hey, and Severe, before you speak on it, you see an identity with this team. That was the problem with McDaniels. Like we didn't know what the identity was with the team. Like were they a passing team? Were they a running team? It like with AP, automatically we know this is a tough, hard-nosed, physical, defensive-minded team. And that's why we didn't mind yesterday's game. Like we were confident in the defense. When have we even watched the game and been confident like, all right, defense gonna get a job done? It's just the offense need to score, and they still got the job. Man, I've never seen, obviously I'm a Raider fan. I follow the team. I've never seen back-to-back weeks with back-to-back defensive touchdowns in a matter of seconds. I mean, the first time it was at 37 seconds, and then they beat their time this week in 7 seconds, literally fumble return by Bilal Nichols, and then you got Jack Jones taking it to the house, mugging Patrick Mahomes on the way to a touchdown. Did y'all see? He tried to clear it up. Did you think that he was trying to be the Grinch to the little kid in the little Chiefs fan in the crowd?
I saw you posted that, man. I was like, this dude Jack Jones is a straight villain, bro. This dude is a villain. I did not see him clear it up, man. But I really don't care, man. Like, look, you're rooting for the wrong team, kid. I ain't about to give you no football that I picked off from your quarterback. But yeah, man, it was a good game, man. It was I was biting my fingernails, man. It was one of those things where once the game started getting close at the end, I started having that creeping feeling where, like, dang, is this extra point that we missed? Is this gonna come back to bite us? Like, is the mixed extra point gonna be what does us in? And it turned out that we was able to close the show on the ground with Zamir White, who who I've been saying, like, I don't know, look, not to toot my own
Yeah.
horn,
Yeah, you've been
but I've
saying
been
it, bro.
saying for a while, let this dude get a chance. He's not as good as Josh Jacobs. I have no disillusions about that. He's not as good as Josh Jacobs, but he
Right.
can be as effective. And that's what people don't understand. I don't have to be as good as you to be as effective as you. Like, and that's the difference. That's the difference. And what he did at a point in the game where everybody knew we were going to run the ball, we had to run the ball. He broke off one of the best runs that we've had all year. Now, outside of that 63 yarder that Josh had, and this was the best run of the year, and it put an exclamation point on the game as a whole. That told the story of the game as a whole. It was our best against your best. You know what we're doing, but can you stop us? And they couldn't do it. We out efforted them in that particular moment of the game, man. And that's hats off to Antonio Pierce. I said I wanted a good showing against a good team, and he provided us that. And as long as we don't wet the bed down the stretch, which I don't think we will, I think he has done enough to solidify what everybody else has been calling for already.
Yeah, it took you long enough though. It took you long
Yeah,
enough. You were
man,
kind of like,
man.
man, I don't know about this guy AP. I know
I
Big
wasn't.
Mike.
I don't know. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand. You don't want to just assume like, okay, winning that first game as an interim head coach, you're the head coach. I get it. There was a lot of games left, but like, man, when you see the energy with this team, you see that they're playing hard under him. The defense is. I feel like they've took it to a whole different level since he's become a head coach. Now we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll talk about the defense, but talking about Zamir, he pretty much got half his yards all on that last drive. Like I think like 64 yards came out of his 145 yards that he finished with came in that last drive. So yes, shout out to him, man. Like he did his thing. I didn't expect it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, but he's a no nonsense. He's not gonna dance. He's gonna hit you in the mouth just like AP was talking about.
Yeah.
But hey, he got the job done. I'm not mad at it. But some of these guys on social media, that some Raider fans over here talking about, man, we need to get rid of Josh. Man, we got our running back in Zamir White. Do you feel like that makes sense, or is it too early, or does it make sense because hey, it's a cheaper option. You got a guy that's can be productive on a cheaper contract, because who pays running backs these days?
That's true. I mean, I said this at the beginning of the season when we were, kind of thinking that Josh Jacobs wasn't going to be around. And, my idea was like, all right, let's win with the running back by committee. We've seen the Patriots do it. We were kind of running that same, we were running the same mold as what the Patriots were doing at the beginning of the season under Josh McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, let's go running back by committee. Let's get Zamir White a number of carries, get a second running back, and turned out to be the Josh Jacobs show again. What I would like to see next year is if they do go that route, we do have Zamir White if you do that, you have him as the running back one, and then get a solid running back two who can kind of, match what he brings to the table. A change of pace, and also can be very effective in the backfield. Not necessarily a superstar, but like a Zach Moss type of running back that can be back there and do similar to what the Dolphins are doing with their offense. They got 3 running backs that can get the job done.
Yeah.
So, we get 3 running backs on the cheap, get them in a rotation. That could be just as effective as having 1 star running back. So I would like to see that next year. And Zamir White 2 games is hard to say that, he's deserved it at that point, but he's kind of showing you what he brings to the table with that. So I would like, kind of bring Zamir White back. He's on the cheap. Bring another running back who's maybe a vet, pay him on the cheap, and then they can kind of just interchange, in rotation, and maybe even a third back, keep Amir Abdullah and kind of keep that rotation going.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with that. I like Amir Abdullah as a third back. I mean, I think he's a guy that's good on special teams. He's good on third down. He can run the rock on occasion. He's a very, very accomplished receiver. I'm all for. I mean, I was before the season. I was all for letting Josh Jacobs walk, and not because I don't like Josh Jacobs as a player. I don't think he's a very good running back. I just think that smart teams don't pay running backs big money. So I'm more than willing to say, hey, you know what? Let's go with this committee thing. The people they had never seen Zamir White. They had only seen him in spot duty, so they didn't know what he was capable of. And I think that was, like, I don't want to say Josh Jacobs was keeping them from shining, but Josh Jacobs was like literally unwilling to come out the game. Like they would say, "Hey, sub out," and he would wave them off and stay in the game. So Zamir was never given the opportunity. And before he was given that first opportunity, I said he's gonna have a good game, and he went out there and he had a good game just because he's a capable running back. And that's all you really need in the league is a capable. You don't need a superstar running back. You just need a capable running back. And I think we got that. And I think if we bring in a change of pace guy, I think we'll be solid at the position. Especially if we're going to cut Jimmy G and take that cap hit. I think we want to save money wherever we can, and running back is definitely a spot where we can save money.
So you guys would you guys still bring back Josh Jacobs?
It depends. Yeah. Like if he's asking for about 14, I know next year that's kind of what the market is talking about as far as if he was franchised again, he's looking at 14 million, something around that.
Yeah.
It's hard to pay a running back that kind of a big money at this point of his career. Now, I'm not saying he's regressing. He's not regressing by any means, but just like Severe said, man, we got to cut some corners in certain spots. And one of those has to be the running back, I would say. If you can go with a solid running back by committee on the cheap, that 14 million that would be allotted for Josh Jacobs, kind of push that back into three running backs and maybe some ancillary pieces to kind of back them up and things like that. Depth, that's kind of the better move for me than kind of giving it to one guy when we need more, kind of need more help offensively anyway.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And I think that Zamir playing well and the fact that Josh Jacobs hasn't had the greatest year just helps with the Raiders negotiating with that contract. And the fact that they have, like, I feel like everything, the leverage is with the Raiders. Like, they literally can franchise him again. He didn't have a great year this year for a lot of different reasons, but, not all on him, but, hey, it is what it is. They're going to use that, like, hey, you didn't lead the league in rushing this year. And then, obviously, Zamir White, if he continues to play pretty well, like, hey, look, we got another guy here. They could, use that as leverage, in my opinion. But, we'll see how it shakes out, man, because I don't want the Raiders to sign Josh Jacobs to what the Cowboys signs, I think, was it Zeke? I feel like it's kind of similar where he was a fan favorite. Everybody loved that running back, and then they signed him to a huge contract, and then he kind of
started to hate him.
Yeah. It was tough, but we'll see how that goes. But another guy who I've kind of said, like, hey, you know what? This is a guy that I can see the Raiders possibly maybe extending if they were smart, because I feel like the best contracts is where you sign guys who are ascending, who are on the upward trend. And the guy that I'm talking about, you guys probably know him, Malcolm Koonce. Guy's been balling. 3 sacks, man. Last time a Raiders player had 3 sacks against the Chiefs. Y'all might remember this name, Cameron Wembley.
Yes.
Oh, man, yeah.
You came over from the Browns. Yeah, it came over from the Browns, man. That was a long time ago.
I remember Cameron. Long time ago, man. That's the last time the Raiders had 3 sacks against the Chiefs, man. But Koonce was able to take advantage of his one-on-ones that were created from, obviously Max Crosby's getting double teamed. But he's doing his thing. He's balling right now. I think he has, about 6-7 sacks so far in the season? He had 4 coming into the game, so now he has 7. So he has 1 year left on his rookie deal. Hey, do we start negotiating that contract now? Like, hey, try to get a contract under, I don't pass rushers get paid. Like, I don't know.
They get paid. He gets paid.
But now, paid early.
Yeah. Malcolm Koonce is balling, right? He's been playing well this year, but he doesn't have a big resume. He doesn't have a big resume, so it's going to be hard for him to kind of go to that negotiation table and start asking for big money.
Right.
Now, if he's one of those team guys that's like, all right, we'll give you about. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know what the market looks like. I haven't checked it out. Let's say 8 to 10 million for the next 3 years, right? Something like that, 2 to 3 years.
Right.
I don't know. The market is asking probably for 20 million for something if he's going to sustain that type of action, right?
Right.
But the problem is he's not sustaining that type of action. We don't know yet.
Right.
Do it next year, and then we can kind of roll with that. But 1 year doing this, it's hard to pay big money to somebody who's only been doing 1 year. We just talked about Cameron Wembley, flavor of the week, right? 3 sacks against the Chiefs, the last dude. Where is he playing? What is he doing right now? What did he do after that? It's like, I'm not saying that that Koonce is going to be that type of dude. He could very well just be breaking out and being that dude, for the rest of his career. But we've only been seeing it for, I would say, half a season, a little bit over half a season. We got to see a little bit more from him before I'm like, hey, let's throw him some serious bread and roll with that. But it's hard, man. It's hard because he doesn't have that big resume to be like, yeah, this is what you deserve. You deserve a big payday. But like I said, 8 to 10 million, maybe even 10 million a year for the next 2 or 3 years. If he's that team guy, kind of throw that at him and see if he accepts that. But like I said, I don't know the market at this point.
Yeah, I would have to look at the numbers as well. But Severe, what do you think? Do you think that we extend Koonce, or should we look into before his market becomes crazy? Because think about it, one of the best contracts or one of the best moves that Gruden, for example, ever did was sign Darren Waller to that crazy cheap contract before he exploded and had crazy seasons with the Raiders, and everybody was talking about how he's getting paid pennies compared to what what he's doing out there in the football field. So would you sign Koonce long term right now, or you wait it out?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to look at what the number is, right? It depends on what that number is. You want to sign him now because it could be a situation where Malcolm Koonce and his representatives say, "Hey, you know what? Y'all trying to lowball us? We know our worth. We're going to bet on ourselves." A la Dak Prescott before Dak Prescott got that big money deal. He was like, "No," he turned down that whatever contract the Dallas was trying to give him. He was like, "No, what? I'm gonna bet on myself," and he went out there and he had a career year. Then he got stupid paid. So Koonce's representatives might say the same thing. Like, why am I going to, take this lowball offer right now when I can get, double that, if I come out and have a good year this next year. So I think we might have to overpay for what we initially think his value is, but then in 2 or 3 years, it'll be like a bargain contract if he keeps up that same level of production, or if his production increases even more so. So I think you have to kind of find that happy medium. But I definitely know it. The one thing the Raiders haven't done well is maintain homegrown talent, and I think we got a guy that we drafted, and so I think it's important to kind of keep those guys in house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No doubt. One contract that really sticks out where we kind of did the right thing was that first big contract we gave Darren Waller. Remember, we gave him like a 3-year deal, and he was a bargain from what he got. We paid him at the right time.
Right.
That was something that I was like, I think 1-2 years in that contract, like we're getting Waller for a steal. Now, that second contract, we kind of got hosed on that one. But the one before that, it was like a 3-year deal or something. He was getting paid like $7 million a year, something like that. If you can kind of catch Malcolm Koonce at the right time, you can kind of replicate that similar type of deal. Now, shout out to Super Omnicron. He brought out some of the numbers. He said the base salary a little bit over $1 million. So he's saying about $2.6 million will work. I don't think that's going to work for him. I think in the edge rushers where edge rushers are at a premium, you have to give them almost like 8 to 10 million. But that's just a number that's off the top of my head. But even then, that still might be a bargain type of move if Koonce is on that up and up like we think we're going to see from him.
Yeah, man. Like, look at like this. Look at what we're paying Josh Jacobs right now. Like, we're paying Josh Jacobs what? Ain't it like almost 12, something like that. To do what?
Yeah,
To do what? Average 3.5 yards a carry. I'd rather invest some of that money. I'd rather invest that same amount of money into Malcolm Koonce, into an ascending pass rusher that's young and hungry and fits what this defense does well. Like, I'd take that exact same money, whatever we're giving Josh Jacobs, say goodbye, sir, appreciate your service, and get up to Malcolm Koonce and have that kid locked up for 3-4 years.
okay.
I'm not. I mean, that's where the NFL values pass rushers, corners, quarterbacks. Like guys in the trenches. Like, so it does. What you're saying does make sense. But it's gonna be interesting because Josh Jacobs is one of the leaders on the football team. It's just we'll see, man. Hey, whoever that next GM is, it feels like it's gonna be Champ Kelly and AP. The way they're the moves, like we hey man, and that's another conversation in itself too as well. Like Jack Jones pickup. Who is that AP or is that more Champ Kelly? Like who was more responsible of that move? Because that is the pickup of the season. Like back to back, he's doing what Marcus Peters was supposed to do when we picked him up.
Man, I think that's AP, man. I think that's AP. That's AP, man. And that's one of those situations where sometimes you have got like know who Jack Jones reminds me of, and I hope it doesn't follow the same path. But remember when we had Paul Gunther, and then we picked up my man from the Cincinnati. I can't think of his name right now. What's the guy from Cincinnati? Linebacker, Vontez Burfict. We picked up Vontez Burfict that year. That first year, before Vontez Burfict went out, our defense was playing extremely well. He was a leader on that defense. He was a signal caller. We were playing like we were in a very effective defense through that initial part of the season. And then Vontez Burfict went out and did his Vontez Burfict thing and was laying all kind of illegal hits against the coach. And he got suspended, essentially ending his career. And our defense hasn't recovered until this year. So I think it's one of those situations where this guy is specific for this coach. Like Vontez was specific for Paul Gunther. Jack Jones works with AP just because of the relationship that they have. And, so I think this is definitely, I give, a tip of the cap to AP for that one.
Nah, facts, 100%, man. But yeah, man, AP, I think that relationship for sure helped because, the guy knew him. I don't know. I don't know I know it was high school, college, and now the pros. But then someone said since he was like 12 years old.
Yeah, I think they grew up in the same area, and then he was the coach for him at Long Beach Poly, out in California. Then he got recruited to USC. He got into some trouble at SC, and at that time, AP was over at Arizona State. Antonio Pierce really lobbied for him at Arizona State to get him back into D1, and even wrote to the athletic director at Arizona State to kind of consider having Jack Jones back and consider him to recruit to Arizona State, and it worked. You got him to Arizona State. He became who he got drafted to the Patriots, and it was all because of Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce was the one that was really vouching for him to kind of give him that second chance because he was out of football because he was getting in trouble at USC. So, and he owes him like a great world of debt as far as where he's been and where he's come from, where he is now. Jack Jones to AP. That's why you're seeing him sell out the way he is, man. I think the only situation for Jack Jones for it to work out the way it is was to be here in Vegas under AP. And I think that AP is going to – I call it the AP effect. He's going to bring in similar guys that's going to want to sell out for him. He is well respected. I didn't realize how well respected he was around the NFL until I'm hearing, Michael Strahan, former teammate, the different coaches. He's got Marvin Lewis up there with him, kind of kind of giving him some tips and things like that.
Yeah.
This dude has a world Yeah, Tom Coughlin, he has a world of resources at his fingertips because he's so respected. And that goes a long way, man. And I think these players are going to see it in the offseason. So I think we're going to win in the offseason under AP, man, as far as free agents go.
Did you hear what he said today? He said my resume is on the grass.
Yeah, facts.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts, bro.
Hey,
Facts.
Gotta love a coach like that, bro.
Hey, man, he was feeling himself today. I don't know if y'all had a chance to check out.
Man, he was, man.
Yeah, he was feeling
I saw
himself.
that,
You
yeah.
talk.
He was,
There's a different
man.
energy
He was.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's going to be interesting too, because hearing you talk about how like his relationship with Jack Jones and some of these players, it's like when free agency comes, that's going to be another reason why maybe a free agent would want to come play for the Raiders. It's like, man, I want to play for this guy. You know.
Yeah. No, facts.
So
Man,
that's going to be interesting to see.
I said this on my show the other day. I'm like, when Josh McDaniels was our head coach, we weren't getting those free agents that we thought we would get once we moved to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a lot of factors that it's a pull factor from Vegas to want to come here. Tax free, the entertainment, the things to do, you know, the great facilities. Those are pull factors to get you to becoming a Raider. And the only thing that was really holding us back was Josh McDaniels. People don't like that Patriot way these days. These new players don't like that military-esque style type of coaching style, you know? And now that we got like a player's coach, and when I say player's coach, I'm not saying that he's a pushover, but the players respect him. And now that he has now that we have a coach that is respected throughout the league, that just adds on to the factors of bringing players to Las Vegas. We're going to see a big difference this offseason.
Yeah, facts. And then I just want to give everybody a friendly reminder. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. And as you can see, let me move this out the way, man. As you can see the guys I have on the screen, man. Severe Raider. Go ahead and go to his channel. Subscribe to his channel. Up and coming Raider content creator. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well as like his videos and follow him all over social media. You see it, The Severe Raider. And our special guest today, man, Big Mike Raider, man, in the building. Appreciate you coming through. Make sure to go. Hey, you hear this guy speaking facts today. So go ahead and go over his channel, subscribe to his channel, go over all over social media. I think Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Big Mike Raider. Go ahead and give him a follow. But yeah, man. Hey, man, we got a lot to talk about. And the next thing we got is what we call notable quotables. And it's quotes that we thought were interesting from the week, the game, whatever, post game. And Severe, I think you got one. If you want to give everybody an intro to what this is about.
Yes, sir, man. So basically, we talking about changing the identity and changing the mentality of the team. I think Antonio Pierce has done that. And, this quote is essentially the essence of what I'm talking about when I say that.
All right, let me go ahead and play this real quick for everybody to hear.
I remember this question was asked, maybe not to me, but one of our players, what are we playing for? And it's kind of disrespectful. What are you here for? Why are you here working? Why are you covering us? It's your job. You get paid to cover. We get paid to play. Got 17 games, 18 weeks. It's our job until, there's nothing left. And then we go in off season. I remember this question.
Man. Hey,
man.
there.
Hey.
You could hear like how
he was feeling himself,
team,
man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he's feeling himself, but also you could just hear like that's what he's telling them. Like, hey, look, you're gonna let this guy's disrespecting you right now. Like, and you could tell like he has the ear of that locker room, man. But Mike, what do you think of the soundbite?
Bro, like me and Severe's on the same page. That was one that stuck out to me. That was on today's press conference, and for years, I would say about 20 years, man. I think that us as Raider fans, I even think the team identity, the people that's on the team, the players, they weren't embracing that Raider mystique, that villain mentality that hits you in the mouth. We're going out there, we're going to be disrespectful. Whether Jack Jones went out there when he scored the touchdown and played Grinch to the kid, was that intentional or not? I don't know, but it builds character for a kid, right? It builds that hate as a fan base to the Raiders, and it just adds on to our mystique. Now, for the last 20 years, we lost that mystique, and I love the fact that Antonio Pierce is embracing that again. It's okay for us to do that within the rules. Now, we're not over there clotheslining people like, back in the day in the 70s and taking people out on dirty hits like that. But you can play aggressive ball. You can go out there and be mean and be ugly, but within the rules. And that's what we need to really be embracing as a team. And I think that Antonio Pierce is bringing that back. With some guidelines like, hey, we're gonna still play clean ball. We're still gonna, they're one of the least penalized team in the league. So he's also bringing that smart football mindset, being disciplined, but also still keeping that mystique. And it's kind of magical what he's doing right there with the team and stuff. And you can see in his attitude that that's what they're bringing. He's standing on business, like people like to say, right? And it's good to see that we finally got a guy that can find a balance between the two and embracing that Raider way that we've been missing for so long. I see something special in AP with that.
Yeah, man. I seen your video. You called it like a few weeks ago. You were like, man, this guy, he's the guy. For me and Severe, he was a little skeptical. I was kind of like, I like what I'm seeing. I want him to be the guy, but I just needed to see. There was still some games left, especially that Kansas City game. I know that was a big game, not just for me, because at the end of the day, I'm not the decision maker for the Raiders. It's Mark Davis. I know Mark Davis is going to be looking at that game because if you guys remember when Bisaccia was the head coach, even though he made that run to the playoffs, remember when we played against the Chiefs, we got destroyed. We got embarrassed. Yeah. I think it might have been one of the games might have been on Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. It was a national televised game. Got embarrassed. Yeah. And like a guy, Mark Davis, he remembers games like that. I think AP right now, I feel like he's going to be the guy just based off how the team responded to him and the fact that he beat the Chiefs. He beat the Chiefs and this is not his coaching staff. He didn't pick none of these players. Mark Davis is going to give him an opportunity to coach moving forward. It's just a matter of time. I think right now, people are saying that it's right. They have to go through that process, per league rules. They have to go through a formal process of interviewing people, but I think it's going to be Champ Kelly and AP, but yeah, man, it's going to be interesting moving forward. Like what this team looks like, especially offensively, because as much as I'm excited about the defense, the offense is just, I feel like they got to destroy it. Like they got to get rid of pretty much almost every. I won't say everybody, but man, when you score, literally, we're one of the worst scoring offenses in the NFL, one of the worst offenses in the league. And we're getting paid like we're one of the best offenses in the league. Something got to change, right? So does a guy like Bo Hargrave, does he come back? Does Davante Adams come back? We just talked about JJ and Cowtown. Let's get into the chat real quick. Cowtown Luda says, I'm a big fan of JJ, but he is no longer. Let me make this a little bit smaller so everybody can see, or a little bit. Ooh, he's getting bigger. Man, it's going crazy. What is going on?
Man. Well, why you do that? One thing I like about that quote is that it's talking about the team being internally motivated. We don't want to focus on external goals, what playoff chase or anything like that. We want to go out there and play Raider football because that's what Raiders do. So I think that's the kind of coach we want to have. No matter what circumstances we're in, we want to go out there. We want to put a good product out there on the field and give it our all. So I think that's very important for this team because like I said, at some point we can only control the controllables, right? And effort is the top of the list in terms of controllables. And we went out there and we put that on grass.
Yeah, man, facts. And Cowtown Luda, this is when we were talking about JJ. He says, I'm a big fan of JJ, but he's no longer the hungry and humble running back. He's tasted success and fame and wants to demand too much for himself. I think he needs to be humbled and sent on his way or restructured. Man. He's coming for Josh Jacobs, man, a guy that's literally been carrying this offense for the last I don't know how many years. But yeah, that's tough.
He carried this year.
Not this year. That's it. But it's crazy. 1 year makes a difference for a lot of people. But,
yeah, man.
But yeah, man. Hey, look, like I was saying, man, the offense is getting paid so much money. Like, a lot of these like some of these guys on the O-line, need to go. Like Andre James, like I've talked about in the past, like I feel like I'm tired of him. Like he needs to go. Like I think Parham. Let's try Parham at center, man. I kind of like what I've seen from him, or draft somebody. You know what I mean? Andre James just feel like he's just too undersized at that spot. Like he gets overpowered by every D tackle. You don't even have to be an elite D tackle. You just got to be solid D tackle. He's getting overpowered over there, but it is what it is, man. But what are your thoughts, man, as far as the offense? Like, we're excited about the defense, but offensively, what are moves you feel like they need to make?
Oh man, I think an offensive coordinator has to be looked for. I would still like to have Bo Hardigree in the building, though. I would like for him to kind of go back to the quarterback position and kind of sharpen up Aiden O'Connell and whoever we bring in as far as the other quarterback, because we're going to need a competition for next season, and he's going to need to. We would love to have his expertise in the building, but offensive coordinator is going to be first on the list. Kind of mend fences with Davante Adams. I don't know if he's happy or unhappy or not, but to me, it doesn't seem like we're getting that level of the effort that we used to see from Davante Adams. I don't know if he's frustrated because Aiden O'Connell's not getting him the ball. He's a little bit spoiled as far as that goes, because when you have Aaron Rodgers for so long, and then your best friend throwing you the ball your entire career, and then you kind of regress, and later in your career you got a rookie fourth round rookie throwing you the ball. That's kind of hard to take, and I think he needs to swallow some pride if he still wants to remain a Raider, and needs to be in the building with that brass to kind of bring in the OC that he wants. If not, go ahead and get a first round pick for him somewhere. I would like to send him back. If I had to send him somewhere, send him to the Saints. Send him back with Derek Carr. I don't want him to the Jets. Everybody's talking about the Jets. I don't want him in the AFC. Send him to the NFC. Send him to the Saints. Then give us your first round pick. Throw in Chris Olave as well. Something like that.
Hey man, I will have something like that. Man, I'll do that trade right now. I mean, first round pick, because their first round pick I think is top 15 pick right now, right? Top 15, top 30.
Yeah.
So
and
Chris Olave.
Yeah, and maybe Olave in the first round is a little too steep. Maybe it is. Yeah. Throw in a fourth, something like that. Throw another draft pick in there, and then we have a wide receiver one to come back in here who's younger, and then on top of that, if there is a possibility we do bring in a Justin Fields, then you got to recreate that connection, that Fields Olave connection from Ohio State again. It's all about connections in this league. You saw it with Burrow and Chase back a couple years ago, Waddle and Tua. We've seen it. Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. You've seen it. Like there's connections, and that does matter. So if we do something like that, go ahead and get a quarterback that has that connection with the receiver. And to me, that just seems like the right move. Or, you can kind of go to the Jets and say that, Garrett Wilson is the same way, right? You could do that same thing, kind of recreate that Ohio State connection. But I don't want Davante Adams in the AFC, especially with a team that looks like they're going to compete next year, supposedly, with Aaron Rodgers returning with the Jets. So send him to the NFC, and we'll deal with them in the Super Bowl if that is the case, right? That's kind of how I see it.
I just feel like with the Jets, we have a lot of leverage and we can get what we want as far as like a first round pick. With some other teams, they might play a little bit hardball. Be like, oh, he's in his 30s. Is he slowing down? He doesn't look as dominant as he did the year before. I just feel like other teams would, but like with Aaron Rodgers, aka being the GM for the Jets, because pretty much they went all in on Aaron Rodgers, so they literally are going to do whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl with him. So if that means getting his guy Davante Adams, which they don't even have a second round pick, so they can't even offer us a second round pick, so they have to give us a first round pick if we were trying to negotiate with them. So I feel man, and that first round pick, if you think about it, that might be, they're not really winning a lot of games this year. They kind of fell off a little bit. So that might be a high first rounder. I mean, I'm not sure if they want to do that, but it looks like they're going to give us a high draft pick from this year's draft. It would have to be a first round pick. So that's if Davante doesn't want to play with us, and I think if you think about it, man, his contract is crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
Crazy.
It is.
Crazy.
So it's almost like you kind of want to swap player for player because of that contract, right? Because you're going to be eating a stupid amount of cap. So for at least you kind of fulfill that cap with a player. I don't know how you would be able to engineer that type of move, but when you're eating an egregious amount of salary cap for one player, that's going to be an L. So you kind of want to replace it with a player in that situation, and to me, that's why I say like kind of get a receiver kind of in like a swapper receiver and then maybe a pick. You kind of loosen the blow, and Olave's still on a rookie deal, so it's affordable. That's why I say something like that. And then if the rumors are true with Justin Fields, man, I love connections, bro. That just seems to be the way things going in the NFL. That's why I say that. I'm not saying Justin Fields is the greatest quarterback out there. It's not the ideal move, but if we're in a position where we can't grab a quarterback, in the draft, then you have to start looking elsewhere. If we do make the playoffs, the truth of the matter is we're going to be drafting in the 18 to 20, something like that. So we're not going to be able to get that quarterback that we're hoping for unless we trade up. So, we have to start looking elsewhere as far as quarterbacks if we are going to, make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's interesting. Severe, what do you think of Justin Fields? Like, we haven't really talked about that too much. I know it's Big Mike just brought it up. But what do you think of Fields if he came to the Raiders? Like, would that be a great fit, I already know.
I don't think about much about Fields. I don't think much about Fields at all.
Man,
I
should never ask that question.
I don't think much about Fields at all. But like, I'm not a Justin Fields fan, man. I think people want Justin Fields to be good. People are in love with the idea of Justin Fields transforming into something that he's never shown that he is. Like, he's going to be some second coming of Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. He's never shown that he can be that, like, ever, right? So I don't think that he's going to come here and magically become like a good player. Like, he's not a good player now. People in Chicago like can't wait to get rid of him, and we have a habit of doing this. Like, we take like players from other teams that like weren't really good, and hope they're going to be, because that's what we've like done in the past. That worked. Like, but this is a new age, right? This is a new day, and very rarely does that happen where you take somebody else's trash and it becomes your treasure, unless it's some kind of thing where like, hey, you know what? They gave up on a guy too soon, or he wasn't coached well.
Yeah, you called it.
Well, I'm not. But Jack Jones was a guy that I don't think his attitude fit with the Patriots, right? He like we just talked about the Patriot way being like real militant. Like, he didn't fit into that system. But the players in with the Patriots knew how good Jack Jones was. Like I said, after Jack Jones had that pick six last week, Matt Judon tweeted it out and said, "We knew it." Like, all the players knew he was a dog. Everybody knew he was a dog. It was just his attitude problems. Justin Fields' problems are on the field. Like, he's not good. Like, that's his issue. And especially if we want to keep a guy like Hardegree. Like, Hardegree hasn't shown that he can really, like, our weakest link all year has been quarterbacks. So I don't know if I want the guy that was the quarterback's coach of the worst quarterbacks we've had in some time, like, like helping our prize at free agent acquisition, like, get better, like that, So like, I'm cool. And maybe if we bring in a guy like Eric Bieniemy, maybe Fields can work. Or if we bring in a guy like Gerard Johnson from the Texans, or if we bring in, but Slowick ain't gonna take our OC job. But if we weren't going to keep AP and we bring in a guy like Slowick who worked with CJ Stroud, maybe that works. But I'm cool on Fields, man. That's I'll go with Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix in the draft, and I'll take my chances with a guy we can build up the right way than a guy that has been coached poorly for 3 years and hasn't produced on the field, and now we expect him to, go into a cocoon and come out as a butterfly. Like, nah, bro, you still a caterpillar.
Bro, can I play devil's advocate just a little bit, man?
Go ahead.
Now let me put a disclaimer out there, man. Like I'm just putting speculation out there. I'm not endorsing 100% a Justin Fields to be our next quarterback. I'm not. I'm just putting out there that that's what seems to be the talk around, the rumor mill right now. That's happening. So if that is the case, bring him a receiver that he does know. That's kind of what I'm talking about. On top of the fact, you can also argue that, Justin Fields hasn't had a bevy of weapons in Chicago. He's never had like some serious weapons that he would have with us, and it would be his first time that he has an offensive line. He doesn't have to worry about running for his life either. Now I'm not saying that he's going to be a butterfly if he does come to us, but you do got to consider some certain things that his circumstances aren't ideal in Chicago. That would be a lot better if he does come to Vegas. I'm not endorsing for him. I honestly think he's going to Atlanta next year, but that's the rumor mill, and I'm just speculating. And if that is the case, let's do that, and the third. That's kind of what I'm saying about Justin Fields.
And I'll say my thing is with Justin Fields, it's all about compensation. I wouldn't be mad if at the highest we give up a third round pick. We give a third round pick for Justin Fields, then I could see like, all right, I see the talent. We know that as a runner he's special, but he needs a little bit more development as a passer. I see the gamble there, and that's a good gamble. It's like a good gamble. If you give him a third round pick, it can work out, especially for a QB like that, as talented as he is. But a second round pick, I'm like, ooh, that's a playmaker on defense that we've probably given up right there. That's another starter on the O-line. It could be another corner. That could be another player on this team that could add some value to this team. So I don't know. I feel like that second round pick is a little too rich for my blood. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But I mean, like when you draft a quarterback as high as they drafted Justin Fields, and then trade out of the number one pick and pick up who was supposed to be an elite weapon for him, and he's still trash. Like we believed in you, right? We showed you, hey. We're giving you the keys to the kingdom. Not only that, but we're going to trade out of an opportunity to draft. Like, matter of fact, look, want to know how bad Justin Fields is? Justin Fields is so bad that he got Bryce Young drafted before CJ Stroud. That's how bad Justin Fields is. Because they was like, we can't do Ohio State quarterback.
Damn.
He is that bad. And they gave him an elite weapon who was supposed to be an elite weapon to DJ Moore, and he's having a worse year than he's ever had. So it's like, come on, bro. At some point, you gotta know when to hold him. You gotta know when to fold him. You gotta know when to walk away. You gotta know when to run.
Hey, talk it, bro. Hey, I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm with you on that one too, to be honest.
Nah. And let's get into the chat, man. Hey, man, chat's going wild right now, man. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We got a new subscriber here. We got Alicia, new subscriber here. Good work, guys. Hey, I appreciate it. Appreciate the
nice.
Hey, as you can see, everybody on the screen too as well. Severe Raider, go over there and subscribe to his channel. Big Mike Raider as well. Go over and subscribe to their channel as well. Appreciate everybody coming through. Let's see who we got. I
see the egalitarian in the chat giving us the salute. Salute to you, the egalitarian 207.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. Let's see. Let me try to get. Man, the chat is going crazy. Let me try to catch up because we just been just going right now.
Been spitting.
Dominique 5. He says Davante dropping passes. He can't say shit or be mad at anyone but himself. Yeah, he did drop a couple balls, but then I will say that Aiden was off last game.
Way off.
He was way
Davante been dropping passes all year. Remember he dropped the pass against the Patriots? They got picked off, and then I think he dropped another pass the next week. Like, Davante has not been the same guy, bro. And I think we traded a first and a second for him and gave him a big contract. At this point, like I said, our bet, like Mike said it best. The team, or I think maybe it was you. I think the team we have the most leverage with is the Jets. I think the Saints, that whole regime is gone. They realized they made a mistake. They realized 8 years faster than we did that they made a mistake with Derek Carr. So that everybody's gone. Dennis Allen's gone. Mickey Loomis might be gone. Pete Carmichael's gone. So I think they might be hitting the reset button. So they're probably keeping their young assets, and they have to keep Derek Carr for at least one more year. So I don't know what we'll be able to do with them, but I think we do have a lot of leverage with the Jets, especially if they want to keep Aaron Rodgers happy.
I think for Davante Adams, sorry for cutting you off, bro, but
no, go ahead.
For Davante Adams, it's like your demeanor and your attitude. You see it in a lot of things. It's kind of a reflection. It will come out, especially if you play football. It'll come out in your actual play. Now he wasn't very happy. He didn't seem very happy. He still don't really seem 100% happy. Every time he's on the field, he's complaining. He's not getting the calls he wants. So that attitude is kind of oozing out on, and it's affecting this game. So what I would like to see for him next year, if we do keep him, is that change of attitude, and if whatever that has to do, whatever we have to do to change that attitude, whether it's involve him in the hiring process as far as an offensive coordinator, designing the offense, or send him elsewhere. We need to change that attitude of his and make him believe and make him sell back into the Raiders and being the guy that we know he can be. So I think it's all attitude with him.
I just think that if we draft a QB in the first round, which there's a high probability that happens, that's going to be a hard sell for a veteran receiver that's ready to win right now. Like, I think
that's true.
When you draft like a young QB, that's kind of a sign that you're rebuilding. Let's be honest. Hey, I think, and hey, you know what? I like Davante Adams, man. Like, I feel like he's out of like all the, if you're gonna call him a diva, he's on the low end of a diva receiver. I mean, I don't think you can see a little bit of diva in him. I'm not saying he doesn't have that in him, but I'm just saying that like he is a leader in that locker room. It's not like he's a captain. He's well respected. You heard him the other week talking about how he bought all his teammates all these gifts and stuff like that. Like, so there's a strong relationship in that locker room, and he believes in AP as well. So he's all in on AP. So he's one of the guys, one of the leaders. When your best player is all in on AP, that's a good sign. AP should be coming back. Like Max Crosby to AP to, I mean, I'm pretty sure Josh Jacobs feel the same way. But yeah, man.
No matter what Josh Jacobs say, he gone.
Yeah.
Yo, that laugh at me,
hey, boy says DA's a great wide receiver. All great wide receivers want the ball. AOC just can't get him. Yeah, facts. I mean, it is what it is. That's just the situation. Daniel Kim says, I'm out on Fields. He's never demonstrated that he can read a whole field. I've only really seen him read half the field. I remember there was a game this year. I think he had like 200 and some yards, and all 200 went to the what's the number one receiver they traded from the Panthers?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, man. And it just like, I don't know, man. I like him, but then I just don't want to give up a second round pick, man. When you give that type of pick, that's a pick, that's a starter right there. It's just too risky.
Ironic as hell that his last name is Fields and he can't read it.
You say you can't see it?
Yeah, he can't see it.
Man, yeah, I don't know, man. I would say, you said something about, usually when you're grabbing a quarterback, that you're in a rebuild situation. This is a unique situation coming to the Raiders that we're not necessarily in a rebuild situation. You got a defense that is playing top 10 ball. Mm-hmm. I know I'm gonna save more of my comments on the defense for the next question. As we mentioned.
Yeah, you know what? Let's segue into that right now. So what's real, what's not, right? And let's talk about it right now. The Raiders are an elite defense. Is that real, or is it's not?
This year they are, and next year you kind of build on that momentum. Yeah, they could be elite next year. Every year is different. And there's teams that come out with some heat on defense one year, and the next they just kind of disappeared. Mm-hmm. but that's because of the lack of moves or lack of philosophy changes, things like that on defense. But if the Raiders do bring that similar kind of attitude to the defense next year, they're going to be better next year. Now it depends on if we do keep Patrick Graham, right? Patrick Graham might be looking for another job. He might be getting some head coaching looks with the job that he's doing this year. But the pieces still stay. You bring somebody who's competent enough to kind of get this defense rolling the way they're rolling this year. Who's to say that it can't be replicated next year? Mm-hmm. And kind of going back to what I was saying as far as quarterback goes, it is the quarterback is going to inherit, whether it's a rookie or Aiden O'Connell, whoever's going to be our quarterback next year. They're inheriting a defense to kind of support what they do, and that's a perfect situation for a young quarterback who's going to go through some going through some growing pains. Mm-hmm. So, I think that anybody who's going to be our quarterback next year is coming to a good situation.
No, I agree. I agree, Mike. I think what I'm saying it from Davante's perspective. Perspective. Well, I agree. I like a rookie. Mm-hmm. I like a first round rookie QB coming in playing with a defense. How many times have we seen success with that? You know what I mean? From the Russell Wilsons to, Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I'm not going to compare everybody to Tom Brady, but Tom Brady came into the Patriots, and the Patriots had an elite defense, and you've seen how he was able to grow within that offense, that system, and the rest is history. But we've seen time and time again, young QBs come into a good defense. They're not forced to do too much, and they're able to develop the right way. And I see what you're saying, but I think from Davante's perspective, it's like, all right, man, like, I don't know if I want to come back and, like, what happens if he doesn't believe in the QB that's coming in? What happens if it's one of those guys, like, where, it might take him a year or two to develop as a passer? Right. Some of these guys need some help a little bit.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take you back to this offseason. I don't know if you remember that press conference that Davante Adams was he was in a press conference in the offseason. It was around, I think it was training camp. He was talking about how he sees the game similar to how a quarterback sees it, right? He was talking about how he has to see it from a wide receiver's perspective and a quarterback's perspective. He's had the best of the best at quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. So in saying all that, you got a defense that's set up perfectly, right? We got a defense that looks elite. They look like if they bring that back next year, they can build on that and be one of the best in the league. Mm-hmm. Rookie quarterback, you kind of paint the big picture for Davante Adams and be like, hey, this is what we got. We got this rookie quarterback. Instill that knowledge, that wisdom into this rookie quarterback in the offseason and mold him into your vision, how you want your quarterback to be. Work with him in the offseason. Throw some, go to the park, the Derek Carr. Remember, he was throwing to all his receivers in the park. Initiate that as a leader on this team to your rookie quarterback. Have your guys out there throwing some, throwing those kind of those balls that where only, people can, the back shoulder type of throws and, kind of, have that communication without speaking with those receivers. It could be initiated by a guy like Davante Adams. So, and that quarterback in turn will be better because of it. Mm-hmm. So, it can work out considering the big picture, painting the big picture to Davante Adams and be like, hey, this is what we're bringing to the table for this squad. Are you on board or are you not? That's kind of what I'm saying with Davante Adams. It's too many pieces in place to where he's like, hey, we can win here, man. Work with the guys we got with you, man. You're the leader here. We want you to kind of instill that knowledge, that wisdom into our young quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying with Davante Adams and kind of that quarterback in terms of having the pieces.
So just to be clear, are you saying? So you said that the Raiders, just going back to the original statement that was said, the Raiders are elite defense, and you're saying that's real. That's a real thing. Raiders are elite defense. Severe, how do you feel about that? And I hear where you're coming from with Davante Adams. I just feel like there's a little bit where he's a little bit selfish, and because I feel like he's thinking about the Hall of Fame. He's thinking about his numbers. I'm just thinking it from that perspective, and I think there might be an opportunity where he can play with Aaron Rodgers. So But I hear what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. But Severe, how do you feel about that statement? Are the Raiders an elite defense? Can we say that now? Is that real?
Yeah, man, definitely. This year they are definitely an elite defense. Matter of fact, to celebrate their realness, let's go ahead and do that for them, man, because that's just how real they are, man. That's how real they are, man. but uh, but yeah, man. It's been a long it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we could say that about a Raiders defense, man. Like if it were not for the defense, what do we do this last game? The defense outscored the offense. So it's a situation where we finally got a pass rush. I think we got some solid corners. I still think we need another corner opposite of Jack Jones. I like Amik. I like him on the team. I like him just for his attitude that he brings. I think he's great in the locker room, but no, I don't think he should be a full-time starter on the outside. Like I think we get another corner. I think we are definitely business. And Patrick Graham is doing this with essentially this defense is only I think being paid $50 million this year.
Crazy.
So he's doing that with the defense being paid $50 million. So I mean that is a testament to him as a coordinator, to his position coaches, and to what AP is bringing to the table as well. So my fear is that he gets head coaching consideration or he leaves this offseason. We have to do whatever it takes to keep that man in the building because he is working miracles right now. He is working miracles right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
and there's a bet that is going to be paid thanks to the miracles he's working.
Oh,
you gotta stay tuned for that.
Shout out to Cane Town.
It's an inside. But let's look at some stats about Raiders defense. I'm gonna put them on the screen. Raiders defense has allowed a touchdown on just 5 of the last 37 drives. So that's 13.5%. Crazy PFF stat right there for you. And then we got let's see another one right here. Another stat for the defense right here. Josh DeBow, if anybody knows him, he's the king of stats, man. Raiders defensive rank. Let me move this out the way real quick. Man, I can't even see it real quick. But he says Raiders defensive rank since Antonio Pierce took over as a head coach. Points per game allowed 15.3, first in the league. Defensive touchdowns 4, first in the league. Sacks game. I don't know if anybody can see this real. Oh man, I think it's kind of getting blocked off. But defensive touchdowns first, sacks in the game are I think 3. I think 3 a game. I think 3.4 a game. It's getting blocked off. Let me see if I can fix this issue real quick. Hold on. All right, cool. So I'll just put it right here. So sacks a game, 3.43, fourth in the league. Takeaways a game, 1.9, tied 6th. Yards carried allowed, 3.93, 10th in the league. Yards played allowed, 4.99, 11th in the league. Passer rating allowed, 87, which is 16th. But you can see, like, man, they took it another notch when AP took over. It's crazy.
Right.
And then one more for you right here. Let's see. We got another Josh DeBow, king of stats here. He says Raiders have 24 sacks and 13 takeaways in 7 games with Antonio Pierce as a head coach. They had 27 sacks and 13 takeaways in 17 games last season. So that's defense took it another notch this year, especially with AP at head coach. But I will say this. I think I wouldn't call them elite just yet. And this is I feel like there's some holes on our defense. I feel like we can get exposed by a good offense. I feel like we're playing good. I think we're good to very good. I don't know if we're elite just yet. I think we're playing elite. I think there are moments like right now, that game that we played against Mahomes, that was an elite level. I would say an elite performance. But I think, in my opinion, overall, the totality, I just feel like we haven't. I would have to wait until next year before I can call them an elite defense. I want to see more talent. I want to see another corner to this defense. Is Jack Jones, is he a number 2 or is he a number 1 in your eyes?
He has number one potential, but
Mm.
but he's a guy that he's almost had to be pulled off the field several times by AP for outbursts. So I don't want to say he's a number one guy, but he has number one ability. So if you got that guy, a guy with number one ability as your number two, like you are set. You are set. So I think I still would want a true number one, but no, Jack Jones is definitely a starter on this team.
Who's actually starting on the outside? I know Jack Jones starting on the outside, and then is it Meek starting?
Yeah.
They got Meek starting on the outside, and obviously Hobbs in the inside. Okay, yeah, man. So I do feel like okay, all right, hold on 1 second. I think I missed something here. My bad. All right. GA Patriots. Let me pull you up real quick. Is it popping up? Oh, my bad. GA Patriot. I mean, I appreciate the super chat. He says we just need someone who can complete the deep pass. Give me Al Davis style run and bomb offense, please. Okay, hey, GA Patriot, he's tired of this offense, man. He's already I'm sure he loves the defense, but he's like, man, we need offense.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, man. Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, that's been your guy for a while, bro. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, man. Look at the numbers on passes over 20 yards, man. If you want a deep ball, he's 22 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think number one QBR. Like it's one of the highest pass percentages completed over 20 yards in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the guy.
Penix
is nice too. Penix is a great deep ball thrower too. Like the pure passers in the league in the draft, Penix is probably the best pure passer in this draft. But Jane Daniels just offers this a level of explosion that I haven't seen since RG3, man. And he does a better job of avoiding hits than RG3.
So he has a little bit more pocket. We say more pocket presence, or compared.
He just knows how to protect himself. He knows how to protect himself. He doesn't take unnecessary hit.
You know who was good at protecting himself? Kaepernick. If you remember Kaepernick early on, like he was a mobile QB. He came onto the scene running and gunning left and right, but I always noticed that he never really took a big shot. He always was able to get down. I feel like if we're gonna get someone like that, look at AR-15. As much as I like how mobile he is, how big he is, how strong he is, dude's built like a fullback, tight end, whatever you want to call it. He took a lot of shots, and he was like out for the season.
Josh Allen's the same way.
Yeah. See, the problem. See, people criticize Jaden Daniels for his size, but the problem is that you're never going like your quarterback, unless you have Cam Newton. Your quarterback is not going to be bigger than a defensive end or a linebacker most of the time. When you have that kind of size on you, like that gives you like some kind of false sense of security where I can run this guy over, I can get those extra yards. When you're a smaller guy, you're like, look, bro, I'm about to get these yards, and I'm gonna tiptoe out of bounds and leave you, grasping at some straws. And that's what Jaden Daniels does. He gets down, he knows when to slide, he knows when to dive, he knows when to get out of bounds. And he can make a guy miss an open field, and then get those extra yards and then get down as well. So I think he does a good job protecting himself better than most quarterbacks.
Okay, and then let's move on to the second statement. Raiders are going to the playoffs. Is it real, or is it not?
I think they are going to make the playoffs, man. I think they are. Now I said at the beginning of the season they were going 9-8, and I'm sticking with that. They're going to win out. Now we need a couple of things to happen. One of which is, the road to the playoffs starts with kind of going through what's going on in the AFC South. Sorry. We're gonna need the Colts to win that Week 18 game. Whoever we're playing, we beat them, they win that next game. Another key game is that Ravens Steelers Week 18 game. We need that to happen for us. And the Bengals, we actually have a better chance for the Bengals to win, to make the playoffs with the Bengals beat the Chiefs next week than the Chiefs. Losing to the Chiefs than them beating the Chiefs. Now, we do have a chance to still win the division, but a lot of things need to happen. not a lot of things, but it's a lot to ask for the Bengals to beat the Chiefs, and then the the Chiefs the following week lose to the Chargers. So that's a tall task to ask for. But the Ravens beating the Steelers, we beat the Colts, and a couple of pieces that happened along the way is more realistic than the other way around. And I think it's going to happen. I really do. I think those things that we're looking for is going to happen. We had a big help this weekend. Really upped our chances like exponentially. Yeah. So, we do our part and win our games that we're supposed to. I feel like everything is going to fall into place the way we need it to happen.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying it's real. Okay.
It's
and
real,
speaking
man.
to some of the things that you said, as far as making the playoffs, they have a 14% chance of making it. And then as far as winning the division, they have a 6% chance of winning it. Obviously, if the Chiefs lose the next 2 games and the Raiders win out. But Severe, do you think the Raiders are going to the playoffs? Is it real or or it's not?
It is. It's not real, man. It's not real. The main reason why I say it's not real. The main reason why I say it's not real is that we've been benefiting from C.J. Stroud being in concussion protocol. If C.J. Stroud wasn't in concussion protocol, it'd be a wrap already. We basically need Houston. I believe we need Houston to lose out in order for us to win to get into the playoffs. And I don't see Houston losing. If C.J. Stroud back, they're going to win the rest of their games. But one thing is that I'm gonna get my AP on. I want to be where my feet are at, and I think we need to focus on beating the Colts. Gardner Minshew has been he's Pac-12 dude, a Mike Leach product, a spunky quarterback that can put up a whole bunch of yards on you real quick. And this is a classic trap game. It's an emotional win. Coming back, beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead. We're going against a quote unquote lesser opponent. And our eyes might not be on the prize. Now AP is the coach, so I think it might be a little bit of a different circumstance, but this is a classic trap game. So I think we need to make sure we aren't. And AP is not looking at the playoffs, so I don't think we shouldn't either. If we beat the Colts, then I think that is a realistic chance. But we still need some help though, and that's the problem.
You said something about the Texans. I gotta throw it out there, man. C.J. Stroud has been without Tank Dell for a while. That was his go-to guy up to a certain point. And Tank Dell, as soon as he went out, he's kind of, I wouldn't say regress, but that level of production. Yeah.
Tank Dell. Well, C.J. Stroud is hurt. Yeah.
No, but C.J. Stroud is also hurt. I think he's been out the last couple games with the concussion.
Yeah, with the concussion. Yeah.
Concussion, yeah. Nico Collins still getting off though, man. Nico Collins is still getting off. I think the game after Tank Dell got hurt, I think Nico Collins went for like 150 and 2 touchdowns, something like that, something crazy. So
he got hurt too. Nico Collins,
he's hurt too. I don't know. Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he lost Tank Dell, one of his top receivers, before he got into concussion protocol, and Nico Collins went down. I don't know if he's back or not. I don't keep up with the Texans like that, but he went down. And C.J. Stroud was kind of in trouble. He lost his tight end too, Dalton Schultz. So
Dalton Schultz, man, okay, dang, they banged up.
They're banged up like that. So I honestly see that the Texans kind of sputtering into the end of the season, kind of going through those growing pains, and kind of sputtering down the line. So yeah, C.J. Stroud is the man. Like, he's doing his thing. He deserves Rookie of the Year, but. These last 2 games, if he doesn't have a full bevy of weapons, he might struggle.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, man. I hope we can get to the playoffs. Hey, real quick, Raider Chubb says RG3 is not a good comparison to sell a QB. I think this is when you was talking about Jaden Daniels being compared to.
Oh yeah, man! Like the talent wise, remember RG3 was Rookie of the Year. Like he was Rookie of the Year, took the league by storm. It's just injuries, and like I said. Jane Daniels protects himself better. And I think, and Mike Shanahan low key got RG3 hurt the way that offense was set up. But Jane Daniels is much better at protecting himself.
Yeah, he should have never played that playoff game, man. That was crazy how his leg just gave out like that. But But you know what? This is tough, man, because I want the Raiders to make it to the playoffs, but will they? I feel like that there's a real shot for them to because you guys made some good points. I feel like there's a real shot that they can win against obviously the Colts and the Broncos. I mean, we own the Broncos, but at the same time, like, I do agree that this can easily be a trap game because you go into Colts, you're looking down on them or whatever, but Minshew's, he's been playing well for the Colts. I think Taylor, he's back. You think he's back from his injury, which is that's tough for the Raiders. But that being said, if AP he got these guys focused, man. He was able to make. I think one of the big things that he was able to do with the Raiders that McDaniels couldn't was the fact that he was able to have these guys finish strong compared to McDaniels. I mean, look at what he did against the Chiefs. I mean, literally he was. I think the players were talking about how they. Coming out of half, they had their doing stretches and some of their the plays that they had their what is it called the plays that they have in the beginning of the game.
Scripted plays.
The scripted plays. Some of the scripted plays were they kind of set aside for even the second half, the start of the second half to help
Smart.
them. Yeah, so to help them start fast, coming out.
But damn sure didn't help Aiden O'Connell, but
it didn't help. It didn't help this game. I mean, this is not a good. Good comparison for this game, but that being said, man, this is tough, man. You know what? I'm gonna say real. I'm gonna say real. I did say I said 9-8 before the season. I said at best it's gonna be 9-8. I did say 4-1. You kept bringing that up, so now you're not bringing it up no more. Now
it's real now. It's real now. I laughed. I didn't bring it up. I laughed.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say it's real. I feel like they can finish 2-0 against the Colts and obviously the Broncos. And some of these games, I mean, look, Texans, they can easily lose the last couple games. They're playing a division game against the Titans. I know Titans haven't played well this year, but we all know how division games go. But the one team that has me a little bit that can stop the Raiders from getting into playoffs, I think it's the Steelers because they own the tiebreaker.
They have to go to Seattle this week.
That's true.
They got to go to Baltimore week 18. So
you betting against Tomlin not finishing with a winning,
I think they can beat Seattle. They can beat Seattle, but they still, if they lose to the Ravens, that eliminates them if we win out. So I like my chances. I like that. I like the chances of that. I'm also banking on the fact that the Texans are going to sputter, and we're going to beat the Colts this week, and then they're going to win their final game. So that's kind of how I see it. That's the scenario of us getting into the playoffs. Those scenarios, and it's not far fetched. It's not like I'm asking for like 15 things to happen. We're looking at realistic things happening in the next 2 weeks, and if we can win out, hell yeah, we can make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm confident in the defense, but it's just this offense. Is it going to come back to bite us? The fact that we can't literally we scored ever since we scored 3-0. The defense is like, all right, we got to score points.
Right.
Yeah.
Last couple games,
and it could very well bite us because that offense is bad. It's bad, and that's what's going to stop us from making the playoffs. I will say that. But like I said, as far as Aiden O'Connell goes, I'm gonna be the puppet again, man. Success isn't linear. He's learned from this last game against Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is no slouch. They're probably one of the top defenses in the league. Yeah. So it's not like he's not like he went against some scrubs on defense. He struggled against a good defense. So he comes out in a dome next week, don't have to deal with the elements, and light it up. He could very well just light it up in Indy next week. And then he plays the Broncos and do his thing and lead us into the playoffs. So I still got high hopes for this offense. It's not all doom and gloom. But, if the defense does what they're supposed to do and we just do just a little bit better on offense, I don't see why we can't make the playoffs.
Okay. And real quick, GA Patriot with the super chat, man. Appreciate it. He says, I've run every scenario. We need one Houston loss, Pittsburgh lose at Baltimore, and we win out. Those are the only games that affect us. Okay. Hey man, GA has spoken. He said it's real. He said he's agreeing with Big Mike Raider. He thinks the Raiders are going to make the playoffs. I'm with you. You know, I want the Raiders to make the playoffs. I feel like there is a real possibility because I've been going to these playoff simulators. I don't know if you guys are messing with those simulators online.
Yeah, I mess with it.
Yeah. So, but we'll see, man. Like the biggest thing I think is offense. And Severe, you got something to say?
Now, I was gonna say the problem is that we are betting against CJ Stroud, and I am not going to bet against you. Like I'm telling you, I've been saying it all year. CJ Stroud is he's a different type of dude, bro. He's a different type of dude, and D'Amico Ryans as well, man. D'Amico Ryans and AP and and Dan Campbell. Those guys are like the trio of like motivational head coaches, former players. And I said CJ Stroud is special, bro. He's just a special player. And we need 2 losses, or we need 1 loss. I don't know if that's gonna happen, especially if they got a chance to get into the playoffs too.
Yeah, man. I just want to see a playoff game, man. It's nothing like watching a playoff game or meaningful games. Like I don't know, man. A playoff game, it's the atmosphere. You know, everybody's playing hard. The hits, the play, everything. The crowd, the whole energy is just. It's just a whole different level.
The problem with that is that I think if we get to the playoffs, we're either going to face, we're probably going to be the 7th seed, and we're going to get the Ravens or the Dolphins. And
Dolphins.
Honestly, bro, I don't want to see either one of those. I don't see either one. I think we caught the Dolphins. I don't want to say slipping. But, I think we low-key caught them slipping. And I think that it's gonna be a little bit different if we play them again. I think we're gonna have their full attention, especially a playoff game in Miami. It's gonna be a different kind of atmosphere, man. And as much as I love this defense, Tyreek Hill is probably the scariest player in the NFL. And
Hey, either way, it's gonna be a good experience. It's gonna be
fun. It's gonna be fun. I mean, I love to see it. I love to see it. But I just said that the problem I have is this. The problem I have is that what I love if making the playoffs is the only thing that will get Antonio Pierce the job, then I say make the playoffs. But if he's gonna have the job either way, bro, at this point I'm building for the future. I've said it a million times. One meaningless win that against the Broncos that meant absolutely nothing to us in the grand scheme of things was the difference between us being able to draft Quentin Williams or possibly trade up and get Nick Bosa and drafting Cleveland Farrell. And do I want to repeat of that in this draft when we have an opportunity to possibly get a generational quarterback that can change the future and trajectory of this franchise forever for a playoff experience? Am I willing to sacrifice one playoff experience for potentially, a decade worth of them? And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you with that one, but hey, bro, in hindsight, it's 2020, right? I mean, that's what they say. And on top of that, was it Josh Allen that was still out there when we the linebacker, not the quarterback, the linebacker, Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Yeah. We could have drafted Josh Allen. Could have drafted Josh Allen, or Brian Burns, or what's Montez Sweat, or Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, it was players there, but there was no the problem was that there was 3 consensus guys: Kyler, Nick, and Quentin. And then after that, it was kind of a crapshoot of like, who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, if we would have just made the better decision, we would have been all right. Cleveland Farrell was the wrong decision, so we gotta take the L for that one. Not just circumstances that happened the previous season either.
Right. Not to cut you off, but you know how bad that Cleveland Farrell pick was. It's like the whole thing about him when they drafted him. Oh, he's a high character guy. He's a leader. Yeah. All this, that, and the third. And then what? A year later or 2 years later, they go and draft Damon Arnett. And then we hear Mike Mayock, we did plenty of research. This guy checks out. This guy's talented. And it's like, bro, like, man, that was bad, bro. Like Mike Mayock, John Gruden, and some of these people saying, "Oh, we need to bring back John Gruden and this, that." Nah, man. Even though he was probably better than McDaniels in some ways, doesn't mean that we should bring him back. He still had his own issues, and that's a whole different conversation with another day, man. He had his issues, but hey, I think things are looking up. I think AP, he's doing good things with this football team. Champ Kelly, we'll see with him. You know what I mean? I think Mark Davis is sold on him. The fact that he was able to hang on after getting an interview early on, and then obviously he hired Ziegler. I think he hired Ziegler because he thought he was going to get McDaniels and because he thought he was going to get Tom Brady. I think that was like the chess move that he was trying to go after, and that didn't work out. And as soon as McDaniels didn't work out, Ziegler was out the door as well. So a lot of people were kind of like, oh, well, Ziegler should have stayed. He didn't do. It was a package deal in Mark Davis' eyes, but Champ Kelly stayed on. He was the reason why he stayed on as assistant GM. I think we all can figure out like, hey, that was a Mark Davis guy. Like he liked him. He probably would have hired him over Ziegler if he had the choice. But that being said, man, like what's next? What's ahead? The Raiders play the Colts. Hey man, what's any last thoughts of how the season finished out? I know we talked about the playoffs being real. Severe said not, but anything that you guys have to say after? It's been a great show. I'm not gonna lie. We touched on a lot of different things, man.
Yeah, it's a dope show, man. But the way the season, like I said, I say we finished 9-8. I think the offense is going to redeem themselves this week against the Colts. We're going to see two throwing touchdowns from Aiden O'Connell. Hopefully we get Josh Jacobs back, but if not, then it's going to be running back. It's going to be Zamir White show again. Wide receiver is going to get more involved, and the defense is going to have a couple turnovers, 4 sacks, and we'll win this game by 8 to 10 points. That's kind of where I'm seeing with this one. The Broncos game is going to be a dogfight. I think the Broncos got plenty to play for. They definitely want to play spoiler if that's the case. Depending on what happens with them this week.
Yeah,
and I see that game going to overtime and we winning that game. So that's how I see the season ending 9-8. Now, are we making the playoffs? I don't know. But I have a feeling that the things that are going to be lined up that need to happen are going to happen for us. So, and I'm repeating exactly what I said at the beginning of the season. 9-8, are we making the playoffs? I don't know. That's exactly what I said. So, and it's turning out to be that same case. So 9-8, and we'll let the cards fall where they may.
Okay. And just last thoughts. Tell the people where they can find you guys.
Go ahead, Severe.
Oh, go ahead, man. You already know where I'm at the Severe Raider on YouTube, at the Severe Raider, on IG, at the Severe Raider, on Twitter, at the Severe Raider, on farmersonly.com. You know where to find But yeah, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Holla at your boy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can find me at Big Mike Raider on YouTube. You can just put Big Mike Raider in the search. First thing that pops up. Twitter, Big Mike Raider. IG at Big Mike Raider. And yeah, man, we got some things cooked up for the off season. Some draft coverage, some film coverage. We're gonna do all of it. And yeah, stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, man. Hey, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you guys be notified the next time I go live, man. It's been a great show. Hopefully we can do more in the future. Severe, we kind of been making this a little weekly thing that we've been doing. Hey, Big Mike, man, the invitation is always open. Hey,
appreciate it, bro.
Let's do this again. This has been a great show. But yeah, man, make sure to hit that like button on the way out, subscribe, and man, till next time. Peace.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Gets the edge 30, 35, 40. Midfield, and then Grinch attacks.
believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.